Welcome to our Week 11 Boomer Bust Show. So I'm just going to apologize preemptively. I'll have a little bit of background noise today. Did some grocery shopping. She's putting them away, and the baby's playing with some of the groceries as we're putting them away. But while that's happening, we'll answer any of your questions. But first, Sully, while we let some questions load up, I know we got one of them already, but how'd last week go for you? Is your leagues all panning out the way you need them to?
Yeah, nothing's really changed. I think the teams that I think are contenders still are the ones that are. I'm having some trouble moving some players in leagues I'm trying to rebuild. I'm trying to move Jalen Hurts in a super flex league, and for some reason people don't seem to value him like I do, so I'll just hang on to him. No problem rebuilding with him on my roster. But yeah, man, I think everything's kind of starting to, become what we thought it would become. I have a team that's 9-1 that just got McCaffrey back last week, so that's probably my best chance of winning a league this year. And I played the team I tied with in first this week, so that's going to probably decide who finishes first in that league. But
wow,
yeah,
9-1 teams is impressive in a league.
Yeah, it's one of those leagues where it's real top heavy. Like there's 4 teams with really good records and 6 that are kind of not. So we'll see. But
one of the 6 that cannot end up winning it somehow. That's how it always goes.
They always seem to. Yep.
Yep. You know how I don't know why, but every time I start the banner and go live, that first comment always deletes for me.
Do you need me to get it for you?
Yeah, just click on. I remember the question, just so it's up here for people to see. So Cody asked before the stream started, which is great. Gets this little cue going. Morning, guys. Allen or Purdy this week? I think we can pause right here real quick. I don't know if there's ever a time I'm sitting Josh Allen unless you have like Lamar as well.
I have Purdy ranked once. I have Purdy ranked one spot higher than Allen this week. Purdy at 4 and Allen at 5. So Kansas City's defense is legit. The Bills have never beaten Mahomes in Buffalo. They've beat him in KC. So just things like that. Plus, Seattle's defense is pretty giving, and I think Purdy. Although there is talk that Kittle might not go today now, so that might change that. If Kittle's out, I would move Purdy behind Allen, but as of right now, I have him one spot ahead.
She must like your take. she's getting pumped.
Yeah, I always thought she was a smart girl. So
I will go with Allen here, and the reason is when you see the Bills, but kind of in a really big important game here, because if they win this and win out, and the Chiefs find a way to lose later in the season, that gives them the 1 seed moving forward. And one thing Josh Allen does in these huge games is he runs a lot more than he normally does.
That's fair.
So I can see him. Hey, can you chill out? You can't eat raw meat. Please put that down. Thank you.
Okay. For E. coli purposes, you can pause here if you need to.
Yeah,
right?
No, it's okay. Her mom's right here. She just has to go through all the groceries.
If you have your wife put the groceries away, it'd probably go faster. Just saying.
Yeah, I know. But Allen's going to run a lot today, and that's the reason I don't think I can sit him. So
okay, I have no argument for that at all. If those are your 2 quarterbacks that you're choosing over this week, I think you're in good shape regardless of which way you go. But like I said, if Kittle doesn't go, which he's rumored not to, I'd move Allen back ahead of Purdy.
Okay. And then the second part is a really good question as well. We got Andrews and Hawkinson, and last week we saw Hawkinson, I think, get double-digit targets, if I'm not mistaken. I know he had 8 catches and like 70 yards. He put up like a slot receiver type stat line, heavily utilized last week. Are we starting to put him in over Mark Andrews because of this volume that he's receiving? Or are we gonna stick with Mark Andrews because he is kind of like guy? It seems like he gets a touchdown every other week or something like that.
Yeah, I do have Hawkinson ahead of Andrews this week. Isaiah Likely's back for Baltimore. He's been out recently, which has propelled Andrews up a little bit. I also think that Sam Darnold's struggling, and he's starting to revert back to being the Sam Darnold that we're used to. He threw 3 picks last week, all on Justin Jefferson targets. So I think Hawkinson just gives him that safe bailout. Like he's really struggling to get through progressions. Like Addison was open all week and he didn't throw at him. So I think that Darnold's going to go first look JJ, second look Hawkinson, and get rid of the football. So Tennessee's a decent pass defense. So I don't think it's a cakewalk this week. But yeah, I like TJ Hawkinson just because of the volume. Like I think he gets 6 to 8 targets every single week. And we've seen way too many weeks in Baltimore where Andrews hasn't. There's just too many alternatives for Lamar with Henry and Bateman stepping up now and Flowers being Flowers. I think they're both fine starts. They're both in my top 10, but I have Hawkinson where I have him at 8 and Andrews at 10. So splitting hairs on this one too.
Yeah, I'm going on Hawkinson as well too. I just see the path to more targets consistent for him for all the reasons you said. It does seem like Sam Darnold is definitely trying to force it to his star playmakers rather than reading the defense, which you don't hate to see as a Jefferson owner, but it's not. It wasn't working last week. Like he was literally just trying to throw it to him when he didn't have to.
It's been a couple of weeks now that he's been struggling. So as a Vikings guy, we need him to get his shit together pretty quick.
And Tennessee is still going to be out with Darius Sneed this week, and that's a huge, huge, huge loss. So that's a great top pass defense into like a probably mediocre one just by losing him for sure. Hello, Olrak asks. Hello, full PPR, need one wide receiver, one flex. Lad McConkey, Amari Cooper, Josh Downs, Darnell Mooney, Chase Brown, Etienne. Thanks. So now that Anthony Richardson is playing again, is Josh Downs going back to reverting to probably his value prior?
Not quite. It definitely takes a hit. He had one good game with Richardson. They've only played together, I think, for about 2.5 games this season. So that said, my flex here is Chase Brown without question, the way he's been producing in that offense this week. Tough matchup against the Chargers tonight, but I still like the volume that he gets. And I'm going to go with Mooney. He's healthy, and he's arguably the 1B target in the Atlanta offense. So I'll be taking Darnell Mooney as my wide receiver and Chase Brown as my flex.
I'm with you fully here. It was kind of easy for me as soon as I was reading this to go Mooney and Chase Brown. I made the mistake of leaving Chase Brown on my bench, but he's taken over as the number one running back this season. And Darnell Mooney's been a very, very solid flex play, if not a wide receiver 2 option this week. I know this says, it says one wide receiver, so it's not his wide receiver 1. But
yeah, that's why I took Chase as the flex. It was pretty easy for me.
Okay. Yep. All right. Matt, how are we doing today? He asked Jennings, Pearsall, or Tillman for wide receiver 2 today. I'll leave this one off. I think I'm going to go with Jennings. Pearsall hit really well because he had that long touchdown catch last week, but the path to getting targets for him is really tough. I don't mind Tillman here as well, with Jameis playing a softer defense in New Orleans today, especially now that they don't have Marshawn Lattimore anymore. I don't even know who their corners are, but seems like Jawan Jennings, now that Brandon Ayuk is gone, is that number 2 receiver, and he's getting the work, he's getting the targets, and he's making all the catches. Like, I see him as a valuable asset moving forward for the rest of the season as a flex option, or even, I guess, if you're struggling, a wide receiver 2 option as well.
Yeah, we're in lockstep here. I like Jennings a lot this week. And again, if Kittle's out, I like Jennings even more. We saw Jennings kind of go crazy for a couple of weeks when he was Purdy's primary target. I think that's what he'll end up being today. I do like Ricky Pearsall as well, but I'd put him behind Tillman here. I think Tillman definitely has a connection with Jameis Winston. And, Winston might want to light up the Saints, being a bit of a revenge game for him. So I'd like to have Tillman in my lineup as well. And worst comes to worst, I think Pearsall has some flex-worthy value today as well. But these are my 3 to choose from. It's Jennings by a wide margin, and then it would be Tillman a little bit over Pearsall after that.
Yeah, I like what I see from Pearsall right now. It gets me excited for the very many shares I do have him in a dynasty league, because I think he will be very involved in that offense once we kind of see how that all shakes out in the receiver position here in the next year or 2.
I'm with you.
And then Matt says, or should I bench DJ Moore and play 2 of those guys? No, with the new offensive coordinator now and the Bears offense struggling, I think they're going to really, really try and feed their stars. And I think DJ Moore
doesn't like that.
I guess not. Well, no, she found applesauce, so she's pumped. DJ Moore today, I think, is going to have a really big bounce back week. He's had like 5 or 6 weeks in a row of like single-digit points. So I'm not benching him for any of these guys here at this moment. I feel like as soon as a new offensive coordinator comes in, always have like one really good week, right? Like the offense just somehow plays a lot better for that week. I don't know if it's just excitement for something new, or because I guess the opposing team has no clue what's coming. Probably a little bit of both. But I kind of like a little bit of some of the Bears offensive players today.
Yeah, I'd still have Jennings over DJ Moore. I'd probably have Tillman. It gets real close if it's not. If you take Jennings out of that equation, I might lean DJ Moore for a lot of the reasons that you just said. I just wonder how much it's going to be different in Chicago when the real root of this is Caleb Williams and how they're calling plays for him and how they're developing him. DJ Moore has been straight up bad for about a month and a half. He's been in the wide receiver 50s almost every week. So I do like DJ Moore. I'm a big DJ Moore guy, but right now I got to see it before I believe it. This is week 11. This is crunch time. I need to make sure that I'm comfortable with my lineup, and I wouldn't be comfortable with DJ Moore in it. So I would probably slot him ahead of Pearsall, but I wouldn't slot him ahead of Tillman or Jennings at this point.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I would also prefer Jennings over DJ Moore today, but I'll take DJ at my number 2 spot there.
I can't fight that too hard.
Yeah. It sounds like there's a bunch of them, but it's just one making that much noise, but just grocery bags. Crazy. If Kittle, I'm just going to say, is able to play, I don't know.
Yeah.
Plays today, do you take a chance on him? Or if he doesn't, I have Ferguson and just got Knox. Or I could go get Gesicki.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say Kittle plays today. So Kittle, Ferguson, Knox, Gesicki. Which one are you playing?
If Kittle's in, I'm on Kittle. I'm not going to get off of the guy. He's been the best tight end in fantasy this year, and I think he still will be if he's good enough to go. So I'd stay Kittle.
Yeah, that was easy for me too. Okay, so now let's say he doesn't play today. Okay. Ferguson, Knox, Gesicki. We got Dalton Kincaid out today, so that's why Knox is in there, which makes sense.
Yeah. Personally, I'm going Knox. He's got a good relationship with his quarterback. He seems to catch touchdown passes from Josh Allen almost all the time when they play, when it's just him and Knox. Ferguson, I don't know what to make of Dallas right now. It's an absolute mess. Gesicki lost a little bit to Tanner Hudson last week, and T. Higgins is back. So that really hurts Mike Gesicki. So he's not in this conversation for me at all. But I'd go Knox, and then if Knox, Ferguson, Gesicki, if Kittle's not out.
Yep.
Kittle is out, sorry.
Yeah, I kind of put all these guys on the same level, and that's that their QB is the biggest dictator of their performance. Right. I really don't think any of them are like super great athletes. And I said the same thing about Dalton Schultz when he was at Dallas. It's like I don't think he's that great of a tight end. I think it's just Dak Prescott likes to use him. So now that Dak Prescott's not there, I'll take the best quarterback, and that is Josh Allen here for me as well. So give me Dalton Schultz if he can't go. All right, we were just talking about him struggling, and Gino seems to. I think Gino right now is a top 10 quarterback. Are we doing Gino or Darnold?
I got Gino one spot ahead of Sam Darnold this week. The thing I like about Gino is they're throwing the ball a ton in Seattle this year. So different than years past where we used to see the running game kind of dictate the offense. They're setting up the run through the pass in Seattle this year. So, yeah, I'm very comfortable with Geno Smith in my lineup. And I have Sam Darnold ranked fairly high this week. Like I have Gino at 9 and Gino, or let me try that again. I have Gino at 9 and Sam Darnold at 10. So it's not like I dislike either one of them. I think they're both in a good spot. I just think Gino probably throws the ball upwards of 40 times today against San Francisco chasing that one. So I like him a little bit more.
Yeah, I'll go with Gino as well. He's got DK Metcalf back, which is going to help. And we just saw the emergence of Jackson Smith and Jigba as the only good option for that team. And
that was nice to see.
Yeah, he didn't disappoint at all, which is what I expected. I really liked Jackson Smith and Jigba coming out of college. I just thought the landing spot would make him be a year or two to really show his skill. So Gino's got both of these guys have tremendous targets, but I just really trust one of them to sling it around and score a lot of points, and that's Gino. But they both could. Flex play needs 2. Disley, Freiermuth, Elijah Moore, Calvin Austin. We're in the thick of it here.
2 of these.
Yes.
I think Elijah Moore's one of them.
Will Disley was actually relatively. I think it might be Disley and Elijah Moore because he was involved early and often in that Chargers game last week. Kind of disappeared more in the second half, I think. But man, he was getting a lot of targets and seemed like the number one tight end for that team. So I'll go with Disley and Elijah Moore.
It's exactly where I'm going.
Yeah, I don't know if Calvin Austin's going to have much more value now that Mike Evans is there. Mike Williams is there. He's probably a better deep ball option, and Russ really likes to throw it deep.
I love that moon ball.
Craig, come on. I don't even know who these guys are. Are these kickers?
So they're punters. So Ethan Evans is the Rams punter and Thomas Morstead is the Saints punter. So if you play in some psychopathic punter-only league, if you get points for punts, give me the Saints. Give me Morstead. I think he's going to punt more than Evans against the Patriots. How's that?
No, Evans is going to punt a lot today.
The Patriots are on fire.
I know. Their defense looked good. That's the one thing about the Bears thing. It's like the Patriots pass rush is nothing that great. It's not bad, but it's not great. And to get 9 sacks in a game, that is not – and I watched that whole game, and there were some that probably were on him, but not even half of them, not even close to half of them. That's a huge problem with any quarterback if you can't get any protection back there. Remember Sam Darnold's quote early in his career, "I'm seeing ghosts." I think that gets in your head when you're constantly getting hit and you're constantly getting sacked. Even when you do have time, you don't think you have it. That's a big problem to have. So I just wanted to mention that because I heard you talking when you were talking about him earlier. That I wanted to put that in there, but somebody was in here going nuts. So
it's all good, man. It's all good.
Hunt or Kenneth Walker, and then we got Higgins or London. I'm not setting Kenneth Walker for nothing. They can get 7 receptions any week. So
they're pretty close, right? Like the thing with Hunt is he's really hasn't been that great, but his volume has been ridiculous. He's had like 25 plus touches. And are you drinking out of her sippy cup there? Is that what's going on there?
I just shake a bottle.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why she's freaking out because Dad's drinking her juice.
She's just handing me hummus snacks things.
Okay.
Like we got broccoli over here.
All right. Wow, this is a pretty educational inside look at you guys this week. I like it.
Yeah.
Just looking at my rankings, I do have Walker higher than Hunt, so I would start him over Kareem Hunt. But this is one of the last weeks for Kareem Hunt guys, right? Like Pacheco's rumored to be coming back, and Hunt is not going to have 30 touches like he has close to 30 touches the last couple of weeks. And I'm still going to be on Drake London over T. Higgins, although I think both of these guys need to be in your lineup somehow.
Yeah, I just can't. I mean, I know Hunt was involved a little bit more in the pass game last week than he normally is, but Kenneth Walker is literally so involved in that team. They always keep a run game established, and he's very heavily involved in the pass game. I just don't ever really see a week where I'm sitting him in all reality. And then, man, the Higgins and London thing is hard for me because if I'm not mistaken, London does have a tough matchup this week.
Yeah, he's got Patrick Surtain probably, most likely.
And that's probably the only reason I think I will lean Higgins here. Joe Burrow has been the best passing quarterback this season, and it really isn't close. And with that, and that's with a lot of it without T. Higgins. And when you put him out there with the way Joe Burrow's been playing, and the Bengals are really in a must. I mean, they could probably lose one more game and still make the playoffs. So they have to win pretty much out at this point.
It's an interesting game for the Bengals though, because they're playing the Chargers, who kind of have to win as well. They're both kind of in that same bucket of wild card area, and the Chargers are not a bad pass defense by any means. They've been really good this season, but they haven't really played any upper echelon style quarterback other than I think they've played Mahomes once, but they haven't had a murderer's row. So I think if you're judging this based on the matchups and who's covering who, I can see why you would go T. Higgins. I'm just wondering if they're going to move London around because Surtain doesn't really leave his spot. So we'll see what happens there. But that's one of the reasons why I liked Mooney in the question earlier, is because I think he becomes the primary target for Cousins today versus London. But I still like London's chance to score. That's where Cousins really looks for him in the red zone.
It's just Burrow could throw for 5 touchdowns today, and Higgins could throw for a couple of this.
100% he could. Absolutely.
Yeah. Just the way he's playing, it's hard to bench.
He's on fire.
Bench any other skilled pass catchers. Morning, fellas. PPR. Need one quarterback, 2 wide receivers. Kirk Cousins or Jameis. I've actually got the same question, and I'll tell you who I put in after you answer. Then we got DK Metcalf, Calvin Ridley, Cortland Sutton, Juwan Jennings. Thanks, guys. Have a great Sunday. A lot of good options here at the wide receiver position. But first, let's go to the quarterback. Who are we starting here? Kirk or Jameis?
So scoring matters a little bit in my answer. I want to know how much you get dinged for interceptions because I want Jameis Winston over Kirk Cousins, but I also think he could throw 3 picks today. So Jameis could go for 353 and 3 today, and it wouldn't surprise me. I don't think Cousins comes anywhere near that. I think he could throw for a couple of touchdowns, but I think they're going to try to Bijan Robinson their way to victory in that one today. So we'll see what happens there. But Jameis would be my quarterback. Who's your quarterback?
I put him Jameis. I have Jameis starting over Kirk this week, and it's really matchup based. That's all it comes down to. Again, Denver's been super stout against the pass this season, where Jameis is playing New Orleans, who traded away their best secondary member in Marshawn Lattimore. So it just gives Jameis can sling it around, and I think this league has like -1 point for interception. So even if he throws 3 touchdowns and 3 picks, it's still like throwing 2 touchdowns and 300 something yards, which is still a pretty good stat line for him. Neither of these guys have rushing upside, so that's why I went Jameis. And then for the receivers, I'll go first here. I'll go with DK Metcalf, and then wow, this is tough. All 3 of these guys are now, like Calvin Ridley and Cortland Sutton, are now good options all of a sudden, and Juwan Jennings is now a good option. He's always been one when someone's hurt, and now someone's hurt for the year. Wow. How do you have these guys ranked? Help me out here.
Well, my rankings are a little different than my answer just because of the Kittle situation. If Kittle's out, I'm going with Jennings and Ridley. If Kittle's in, I'm going with DK and Ridley. I just think Calvin Ridley all of a sudden has become the guy that we kind of thought he was now that Hopkins has gone to KC. And watching as many Minnesota games as I do is we're really hard to run on, but you can throw on us, especially in the middle of the field. So if Ridley goes a little bit more inside and plays a little bit of slot stuff, he could get 8 to 10 catches this week and score. And he's been really good the last couple of weeks. So I like Calvin Ridley. He would probably be my easiest one here. Cortland Sutton, I'm not buying it. I know it's happening, but I'm not buying it. Juwan Jennings, I really like, especially like I said, if Kittle's out. And DK's DK, so I'd have a hard time sitting him. But that's my sort of cop-out answer. And I know you need to probably know the answer to that before we realize what's going on with Kittle. So I'd probably play it safe and just go DK and Ridley because I know that those situations are what they are.
Yeah, I'll go with DK and Ridley as well if Kittle is playing. If Kittle's not playing, I don't know. I don't know who I'd sub out. That'd be a harder decision to make. I was trying to look at it. It looks like Kittle's going to play, but
I don't know. Last thing I saw was he was trending like he wasn't, so maybe things have changed on him. I don't know. I saw that in the middle of the night.
Yeah, I'm going to look it up while we go to this next question, whichever boy Jaws is here.
Jaws, what's going on, brother?
How we doing, man? Sweat out the Monday Night Football with CeeDee Lamb or play Jacoby or Waddle today?
It
looks like CeeDee's playing. I think it's because he popped up on the injury report late last week or this week.
Did he?
Maybe that's why. Yeah, he did. He popped up, but then I looked at it and it said there's no worries. Because it said he was on Sleeper. It said he went from healthy to questionable, which means he popped up on the injury report somehow. But it looks like he's playing. I can't sit CeeDee Lamb. He should have scored a touchdown last week, and they just missed him. Which sucked. But.
Yeah, if they had designed a football stadium that doesn't have the frickin' sun in your eyes in the end zone, still can't get over that.
Yeah.
He catches that pass. He has a 15, 16-point PPR day. So, and then we're not even questioning whether or not we're sitting him, right? Like he's still going to command an exceptional number of targets from either Cooper Rush or Trey Lance. If you put one of us back there at quarterback for Dallas, that's where we're going to look. We're going to try to throw it to CeeDee all day long. So
it says he's unlikely to play.
Who, Lamb?
For George Kittle.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. Kittle is most likely going to be out. So,
yep.
I'll probably redo my rankings here.
Yeah, I might sit DK Metcalf and go Calvin Ridley and Juwan Jennings as well.
That's probably what I'm doing.
Yep. Just for shits and giggles, would you do Waddle or Jacoby? Because for me, it's Jacoby.
Me too.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to Jalen Waddle. I think that I don't know. I don't know.
Him.
Yeah, maybe, but it's not like he's getting. I don't know. I think
that
offense.
Weird.
I think the league has figured out that offense.
Yeah, yeah. Even Tyreek's really not doing much. I mean, he scored last week, which helped. But
do you know how many top 12 wide receiver weeks Tyreek Hill has had this season?
What, one?
Yeah,
week 1, right? Probably week 1.
Only one.
Yeah, and that was week 1, literally the first week of the year.
Yeah,
he's going to be due for a blow up here soon, though. I mean,
you got to figure.
He did score last week, which helped, and Waddle even started off really hot last week. I think he had like 2 catches for 50 yards on the first drive, and he really didn't do anything after that. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Would I be crazy to play Jennings over Debo?
Back to back in my rankings, Jennings 1 spot higher, so I would say no, you're not crazy.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I don't like Debo Samuel. He's like one player I think is super talented. He just seems like such a douchebag. Why are you messing with the kickers and the?
He tried to fight the long snapper last week or something.
It was so funny. The long snapper would have just fucking demolished him over because he looked significantly larger than him. I mean, not saying that really matters, but
Debo's not a small man by any
means. I know, and that long snapper looked huge. So
the long snappers are usually not exactly tiny.
Yeah,
but I love Juwan Jennings. I think he's a super talented wide receiver, and I'm not saying Debo Samuel isn't, but
he never disappoints.
CMC back impacts Debo Samuel. He loses those 4 to 5 runs a game, but Kittle being out helps them both. But I still like Jennings just a little bit more likely to score, I think.
Yep. Okay. Sorry, Josh is don't have a replacement for Monday Night Football.
I don't think you need one, man. I think CD's going to be just fine.
Yeah, I was looking at Sleeper, and they said there was no worry on him at all. So I'm going to click on it again and make sure here. But we'll click on the next question while we do. Mahomes or Herbert?
It's kind of funny. This is a question. Again, back-to-back in my rankings, Mahomes at 11 and Herbert at 12. Here's what I like about Justin Herbert is he's running a lot. And I don't mean like he's Lamar Jackson running a lot, but he's running for like 35, 40 yards the last couple of weeks. You'll take those 3 or 4 fantasy points all day long. And all of a sudden, the Chargers are throwing 30-plus times a week. But I don't think they need to this week. I just think that maybe they do against Cincinnati. I don't know. But Patrick Mahomes seemed to unlock a little bit of himself in the last little bit. And the one thing Mahomes does is rise up for big games. And I think this is the big game that he's going to rise up for. I think this is Mahomes' best game of the season, and that's why I have him 1 spot ahead of Herbert.
These 2 teams never disappoint when they play each other. Buffalo and Kansas City is awesome. always a fun game to watch, and it's really never low scoring, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's always.
I want all parts of the people playing in this game. I want Khalil. I don't mind Amari Cooper's today. I like Khalil Shakir's.
Is Cooper going? Is he playing?
Yeah, they said he is active today. I was looking at the inactive list and he wasn't on it, so that would mean that he is playing. To me.
Good.
I'm imagining he probably could have played last week. I think that maybe they saved him for this week potentially, but there is no Keon Coleman today, which helps. I think helps Amari Cooper more than anybody because now there's who you're going to throw that 50-50 ball to. It's got to be Amari.
It does. Although you called it last week, Matt Collins, right?
I know. I said he's going to be fantasy. I said he's going to be fantasy relevant today.
And he was. And I was listening to a podcast this week and they're talking about him. He's like a really weird dude, hey? Like
he's barefoot all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
There was a couple other things I can't remember, but they were bizarre. Like
he's apparently like super chill. He's probably like what's his name? Lenny Kravitz. You know how Lenny Kravitz like lives off his own land and eats all the food and stuff like
sustainable food source.
Yeah. He seems like he's like one of those guys.
I'd like to have a beer with Matt Collins, but I don't think he's going to have a beer.
His friggin' hair is like out to here.
He'd have like a kale carrot, fresh pressed, cold pressed juice or something. But no, he seems like a cool
somehow.
Dude. I like Khalil Shakir in that offense today as well in the middle.
Yeah.
And the one thing we had that Knox question earlier is Kansas City's been beat up by the tight end all year long. So I like Knox, but you're right. 50-50 balls, it's probably Cooper.
Yeah. Which really sucks for Dalton Kincaid. He has like yet to break out this year. Like he's been like utilized, but not enough. And I feel like today could have been a really good day for him.
He's one of those guys that we just don't think he's being utilized correctly. But clearly, these teams know more than we do about how to use a player. There's something there that we just don't see, or we want him to be better than he really is, perhaps.
I think it's because that Khalil Shakir is also just such a good target over the middle that takes away a lot of really good tight end players. Like especially Duncan Kincaid's like a guy that can work the middle of the field, but you also have Khalil Shakir who's really shifty and also can work the middle of the field. Like you got to share that. So if there wasn't a guy like him, if Shakir got hurt, I bet, and Dalton Kincaid was healthy, I bet Dalton Kincaid would see an uptick and volume, especially in between the hashes.
Yeah.
Dowdle or Tillman?
Just looking up where I got him. To me, it's Tillman by a wide range. It's about 30 spots in my flex rankings.
Yeah, it's Tillman for me as well. Giles did say he's got Mingo on the wire in case. What's his name goes down. Hey, there you go. If CD can't play, put him on your IR and slap Mingo in there last minute.
As long as you got something you can drop, because Mingo is supposed to play this week.
Probably could. If he gets labeled as out, you should be able to put him in your IR real quick.
If you have an IR, right?
Yeah.
And some leagues IR is only for guys on IR, not out. So there's a bunch of different restrictions you might have. But if you have someone to drop, you might be able to grab Mingo. But what is Mingo? 3 for 30? Hopefully scores. Like, is it even 3? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the dumbest. Is that the dumbest trade you've ever seen? The Cowboys giving up a pick?
It was interesting. I know that. I mean, I know Mingo is a highly touted guy, and they need another guy, a wide receiver, but I would just thought they would maybe address that in the draft or try and go after a bigger name player. Like I think going after like Jacoby Meyer would have been a way better option. But
you got the same guy making trade decisions that can't close the blinds on Sunday afternoon. So I don't get it, man.
It is weird. Here's one I don't like: Estime or Javonte.
I'm going to pull up my rankings, and I'm going to probably have Estime ranked higher. I don't. I have ETN at 24 and Estime at 32.
No, it's Javonte Williams and Estime.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, then that changes the answer.
Yeah. I
do have Estime higher. I think he's taken over that backfield. It's like in terms of running it.
Yeah.
Javonte wasn't good.
Yeah, he wasn't as a running back. That's true. He was good as a PPR guy. Guy of the backfield wasn't bad.
And he's not Peyton's guy, right? Like Peyton drafted Estime. Coaches have egos. Sean Payton might have one of the biggest ones out there. He wants his guy doing his things. They'll all probably eat into each other, like him and Estime, Javonte, and Jaleel McLaughlin will probably all get some touches. Chargers are a decent team, man, and they're a good defense. So, but I got Estime a little bit higher just based on purely on volume.
Yeah. Hunter Henry or Tucker Kraft? I just don't know if I can bench Hunter Henry. I know last week was a bad week, and I didn't really like any Patriot player last week because of the matchup. The Bears defense was still good. I mean, Patriots only scored one offensive touchdown. It's not like they.
What did Henry end up? Did Henry end up doing anything last week?
No. There was no skill player for the Patriots that did anything of significant value last week. I think even Jalen Polk had one catch for a touchdown. Like that might have been the best. It was a really boring game with a lot of punting.
Polk did have a touchdown. I remember that now. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a 2-yard touchdown. I watched the whole game, and Hunter Henry wasn't as involved. It wasn't very, very involved. Both offenses were not very good last week, and that just might be because both defenses are good, but both offenses have also been bad all year. So bad matchup for skill position players. But today the Rams also might give the Patriots offensive line a lot of problems. Their D-line's been really good this year.
That kid, who's that kid, number 8, the guy they drafted this year?
Jerron Verse. Yeah, he should get – I think I'm trying to think of all the rookie defensive players this year, but I think that guy's got to be –
He's got to be defensive rookie player of the year, right?
Yeah.
Like he is –
offensive as of right now is probably Daniels.
It still is, but he's really struggling.
The last 2-3 weeks really hasn't done much himself.
Ever since he hurt his ribs, I think he's kind of dinged a bit.
Yeah.
I think I have Hunter Henry ranked higher here, and it's not by much, but it's because of what I perceive his volume to be today compared to Kraft. Like, I think Green Bay is probably going to handle the Bears rather easily, but there's so many different options for Jordan Love, and there's not as many options for your quarterback. So I just think that Henry is probably going to go back to 6 to 8 targets and 4 to 6
Demario
catches.
Douglas might have been the only guy that had value last week. I'm not looking at the box score
that's what I think. And I've got Tucker Kraft ranked 11th, and I have Hunter Henry ranked 9th. So I think they're very comparable. And like in tight end rankings, that's like a point, if that, between those two guys. But I just think that Henry, again, gun to my head, I think Hunter, if someone had to score a touchdown this week, I would put $1 on Hunter Henry over Tucker Kraft, just because.
Yeah,
of
Hunter Henry had 1 catch for 14 yards last week.
How many targets?
I can't. I'm not able to see it on here. I'm looking at the box score on
That's okay.
Google.
That's okay.
But Austin Hooper was the leading receiver last week for the Patriots.
There you go. Right.
He does look for the tight end. He does.
Yeah, I like Henry a little bit more than Kraft, just because I think Jordan Love has more weapons than Drake May. That's all.
Yep. Yeah, that's an easy assumption. There's not many teams that have less weapons, that's for sure. Morning, fellas. Half PPR, tight end, Pitts, Taysom Hill, or Jonnu Smith. I don't know if Taysom Hill is he a top 5 tight end option rest of the season with the way this
kind of
like, I guess fantasy.
Maybe not top 5. Maybe not,
but I mean, geez, this guy has all the opportunity. I mean, Chris Olave is basically out for the rest of the fantasy season, right? He's on IR for 3 more weeks. So
yeah, he needs to stay there.
You got Pitts, who's been inconsistent pretty much all year. Now, Jonnu Smith, another guy that's inconsistent. I feel like now with the way that this Saints offense has shaken up, Taysom Hill's opportunity for touches is just too high at every position. Literally, quarterback, wide receiver, running back, tight end. I gotta play him here out of these options.
I need him to just get the hell out of the league because he pisses me off every single week.
As a Kamara owner and some contenders, he's very frustrating.
Yeah, it's annoying as hell. That said, I have Kyle Pitts ranked the highest here. I have Jonnu over Hill as well this week. I think that I get it. Taysom Hill has all the opportunity to do those things, but he's just not, right? Like Derek Carr is not coming off the field to let Taysom Hill take some snaps at quarterback. Sean Payton's gone and Dennis Allen's gone. And I don't think this special teams interim coach is making those moves. Carr looked good last week. So can he run some in? He's definitely a goal line rushing threat, and he can catch some passes too. But I think with Surtain mainly on Drake London this week, and I can't remember Denver's other corner being pretty damn good too on Mooney, I think Pitts is going to get a lot of linebacker coverage this week, and I think he can do some stuff for Kirk Cousins. So I don't have a ton of confidence in any of these guys, but they're tight ends, right? Like I don't have confidence in more than probably 2 or 3 of them. But I would go Pitts, Jonnu, and then Taysom Hill. Jonnu and Taysom Hill are back-to-back in my rankings, 12 and 13, and Pitts is at 5. So,
yeah, I mean, Taysom Hill had 5 touches last week and 9 the week before. Which is a lot the week before against the Panthers, which they somehow lost. But
unreal.
Yeah,
lost that game.
Yeah, I know. I got their coach fired, didn't it?
Sure did. Maybe that's why they lost.
Yeah. Wilson or Love at QB today?
That's a good one. It's Love for me, but no, it isn't. Sorry, it's Russell Wilson.
Yeah, Russell Wilson and his love for the deep ball has been rejuvenated. I mean, we think about it, right? He had all the deep ball options his whole career. I mean, even Doug Baldwin was a guy that could make plays down the field. Tyler Lockett's always been a good guy down the field. DK Metcalf, and now he's got George Pickens, who
and he
I know
had,
you're not a huge fan of George Pickens, but that dude can make some plays down the field.
I'm officially wrong on George Pickens, and I have no problem admitting it now. Like I've been watching it a little bit more closely with a decent ass quarterback. That guy's pretty good.
Dude, he's really not that great at getting open, but he doesn't need to be. Like it's like he is even when he's not, because he makes all the catches. The memes are funny of him. Like he just likes to beat people up on the field, which is funny. But yeah, I have a frustration with George Pickens because when the Patriots were up for their draft pick 2 years ago in the second round, I was like, this is it. We're getting George Pickens. And then we get Tyquan Thornton, who just got released a few days ago.
I didn't know that.
It broke my heart. Yeah. It broke my heart because I really, really liked George Pickens and Georgia and thought he was going to be a sweet player. And of course, he would have been a great asset for New England. So I've always been a fan. I've been a fan of him. I thought he's always been super talented, just had crappy QB play, and now he's got a quarterback that fits his style of offense.
Russell Wilson gets Baltimore this week as well, and Baltimore's secondary is horrific. Like George Burrow has thrown for more yards in 2 games against the Bengals than some quarterbacks have all year.
Joe get to change his name to George? I'm just kidding. George Burrow.
But I think what's going on with my head. I just like Russell Wilson over Baltimore versus Love against the Bears. The Bears are good, and my dogs are losing their shit.
I know. I had the problem this morning with a human. Yeah. The mutant shut up.
Yep.
Yeah. This is hard for me. But I think it's Wilson for me as well. I've held on to him in one league where it's like I've got him, Rodgers, and Drake May now, and it's easily Wilson and May for me moving forward this year. And I'm very happy with it. The team, I'm on the fringe of the playoffs, and I'm really, really hoping to make the playoffs because I've got a good team. But
yeah, I'm a similar situation. I have a super flex roster with Geno, Russ, Anthony Richardson, and Aaron Rodgers, and I'm kind of leaning towards just kind of riding Geno and Russ and see what I get.
Yeah, I think you have to, which is crazy because preseason you would definitely be like, oh, that's easily going to be Aaron Rodgers and AR moving forward this season. Yeah, easily. No problem, Michael. We try. We could be completely wrong, but we try. Have PPR, Chubb or Ramondre? Thanks in advance.
It's a good one.
It is a good one.
Chubb could. I see a lot of people really liking Nick Chubb this week, and I don't know if I'm there yet. If Ramondre, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but it seems to me like in the games where Ramondre gets a decent amount of work, he's really good. But he needs a certain threshold of volume. He didn't do good last week. Well,
no, he had 20. He just was unable to fall in the end zone. But yeah, he had 20 over 20 touches. But yeah, normally you're correct. But last week was a tough matchup.
I'm Stevenson at 20 and Chubb at 28. So I'm Ramondre here.
I
think Chubb's coming though.
Yeah, it's Ramondre for me as well. He's getting the volume right now. That team is not ever going to abandon the run game. Is going to keep a little bit of pressure off Drake May, and that helps out that offensive line a little bit. So I'll stick with him until I see Chubb break out into old Chubb, but it doesn't look like that Chubb's coming back.
I don't think that Chubb exists anymore. No.
Yeah. Choco says, "Thanks. You're welcome, sir." Oh,
always good.
Lost my spot. There we go. Craig says, "Punters matter too." No, they don't.
PLM, Punchers' Lives Matter.
T or Jennings, PPR?
Jennings. He might be my ride or die this week, and it might burn me, but I love Joel Jennings.
Yeah, I just don't know if I can sit any Bengals top wide receivers. I'll go with T. Higgins. I'll go with T. Higgins here. I've got Joel Jennings starting today in a few leagues, and I have no T. Higgins, so it's like I hope
I don't have any shares of T. I traded it a couple years ago in a rebuild.
Yeah,
so
I don't either, and I've got some Joel Jennings starting today, and I'm happy about it. So
I got about 3 or 4 of him going this week, so hopefully he's good.
I need upside at tight end: Kraft, Knox, Jonnu Smith, or Taysom Hill.
The upside's Knox, in my opinion.
Yeah, Knox has 2 touchdown upside, I think, over the rest of these guys today.
Yeah,
in a game that could be very high scoring.
Agree.
Even though the defenses have been playing pretty well this year. Seth Temple asks, "Good morning and good luck today. Non-PPR, Travis Etienne at Detroit or Alexander Madison at Miami?" So who has a better chance of probably falling in the end zone today?
I take Alexander Madison. He's the primary ball carrier in that offense. Tank Bigsby is out, so Etienne should be the primary guy. But if you take any kind of points per reception scoring away from both of these guys, Alexander Madison loses a little bit, but Travis Etienne loses a lot, in my opinion. So, Madison's kind of become the guy in Las Vegas for some reason. So,
Yeah, the week prior, Zamir White did vulture a touchdown. Is a concern for me. So with no Tank Bigsby, I will lean Travis Etienne here. This is close, unfortunately.
I might even the Scott Fishbowl. I have a roster where I have White and Madison, and I did start Madison that week for the first time ever. The week that White vultured the touchdown. Of course, it's pretty cool.
That was all he did, though. I don't think he did.
That's all he did. I think he had 2 carries that game. One was a touchdown. I was like, thanks a lot. Hope they fire you.
No problem, Seth. You're welcome.
Always welcome.
Pedro, good morning. In a very aggressive league. Sorry about question for next week. Thoughts on sorry about question for next week. I don't know. Thoughts on Joshua Palmer with upcoming Chargers QB / wide receiver friendly schedule. Thinking at flexing Palmer next week. London out. Always talking about next week because
is Atlanta on bye next week?
Must be.
Let me take a quick look here.
I mean, I don't hate flexing Palmer, but I mean, there's a lot better options out there. He's become the 3rd to 4th option in that passing game behind QJ, Lad McConkey, and maybe even the tight end at this point.
Yeah, I get the question because the Chargers get the Ravens next week, so I get it. I don't know if there's a lot of better options out there. There's 6 teams on bye next week: Atlanta, Buffalo, Cincinnati, Jacksonville, New Orleans, and the Jets. It's about to get stupid ugly. I think 2 of the next 3 weeks have. Which is crazy because
next week will be a big week for a lot of people in must-win situations, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see any other options that you may have here. But I mean, if you got to flex them, you got to flex them. There's a lot worse out there, but there is also a lot better. So maybe give us some other players that maybe you're considering. I like
your line of thought, though, Pedro. I think targeting that matchup is not a bad idea. But to Bryce's point, if you have any other options, we'd love to know what they are.
Yep. Any news on if this is Tyreek Hill rest of the year? No, I don't.
It sounds like he's in no danger of missing time. He's just playing through this wrist ligament issue that he has.
Oh, gotcha.
He's full go this week, but I just don't know what full go for him is right now.
Johnny 222 bear down. Go Pats. What's up, guys? Have someone trying to make a trade. Trade me Swift, Shakir, Chubb for Irving, Moore, Metcalf. Would you do it? Depends. I mean, if you're really running back needy, I don't hate this trade. I the crazy thing is I might like Shakir.
That's my problem right now. Like I like the Irving Metcalf. I like the Irving Metcalf piece, but I don't like the Moore versus Shakir piece. That's where I'm struggling.
Yeah, and I like Swift too. Like moving forward this season, it's like I think you're getting the best running back and arguably the best wide receiver on this left side.
So let's just play this game. Swift or Irving?
That's easily Swift.
Okay, Shakir, Moore.
Shakir, and then
you got Metcalf, easily Metcalf over Chubb. So 2 beats 3. I think I like the top group too.
Yeah, it's just how much does the 2 beat the third one by, right?
I'm assuming this is PPR scoring as well. So I like the Shakir side. Like Shakir, just on volume, could catch as many balls as Metcalf. He's just not going to get the yards and the scores, right?
I don't want to say it's a fear because I'd have no DJ. I have 0 DK Metcalf in all 12 leagues I'm in. But I think this emergence of JSN is not good for Metcalf owners. I really don't think it's going to be super good for him. I think his volume will go down. He's going to always have that big playability, right? Like he's got the best big playability in the league. But
he's another
volume.
We talked about Kincaid earlier and not using him correctly. He's another guy that clearly these organizations know more than I do, but it just seems to me like that's not how I would use DK Metcalf.
Be interesting to see DK Metcalf potentially in a Pittsburgh uniform in the near future. Wouldn't surprise me. He and Russ love each other.
I wouldn't mind seeing DK in about 31 different jerseys.
Yeah,
I'm coming Minnesota.
I'd like I'd like him in a New England jersey. You guys don't need a wide receiver. Let's be honest.
We'll take another one.
But I think I'll take the Swift. I think I'll take the Swift Shakir Chubb side, especially if you're super. Close, if Swift ends up in your starting lineup, I think at this point you need to look. What would your starting lineup be before and after the trade? And if you think it's better, then yes, take it. That's what it comes down to at this point in the season.
Those are the type of trades I like seeing, though, because that looks like a trade that's going to make both managers better. And that's what trades
it
should
could.
do. Everybody's always worried about who's going to win the trade. Just try to make your team better. And if you can make the other guy better at the same time, that's fine. I like that trade.
Yeah. If it's a dynasty, I will say if it's a dynasty, I'll take them more in Metcalf side. I would like to.
I would too, because I like Bucky Irving a lot going forward.
Yeah, I would want to clarify
and
that.
Chubb is done, and Swift is probably going to get traded again because he's only good and seems to last for 1 or 2 years. So
yeah. Pick 3, full PPR. We got Adams, Mooney, DK, Tillman, or Shakir.
Whew.
Shakir.
Who's your number one here?
I think it might be Shakir.
It's either Shakir or Mooney for me. You call me crazy. I think I'm Shakir, Mooney, Tillman.
I think I'm Shakir, Mooney, Adams.
Yeah, is Adams playing? Like, he didn't practice all week.
I think he plays. Right?
He'll play. But who the hell do the Jets play?
The playoff window is not.
Play the Colts.
They play the Colts. Yeah, the playoff window is not closed quite yet for the Jets. It can be. Here.
It closed a long time ago.
If they somehow win the next 7 games, right? Is it 17 games? They could. I mean, I don't know. Even if they win 6 out of the next 7,
right?
I mean, I don't know what their schedule is looking like. I mean, they got
it ain't 6 out of the next 7 wins. I'll tell you that.
I mean, it's Colts, Seahawks, Dolphins, Jaguars, Rams, Bills, Dolphins again.
So they lose one of the Bills or one of the Dolphins games because you barely ever sweep in your division, and they easily lose to the Bills. So, but you're not wrong. They got a chance.
They could win 6 of the 7. They really could. With their defense and,
all right,
and offensive weapons.
I am changing my mind. I have to have DK in there. So I am Mooney.
DK Shakir.
I am.
I'm Adams. I'm Adams, Mooney, Shakir.
In all honesty, Adams is the last guy I would start out of this group.
Yeah, I can't do it. He's just got I feel like when they get inside the 10-yard line, I feel like Adams has the highest touchdown upside of that whole team inside the 10.
Cody, I'm sorry. I'm really struggling with this one. I'm not helping you at all. And by disagreeing with Bryce, it helps you even less. But it's Mooney, DK, Tillman. That's what I'm going with. I'm going to sit Shakir and Adams.
Dang. Sitting Shakir in that matchup.
Yeah.
Not even I guess matchup good for fantasy, just a friggin' potential just
a 42-38 final, right? That's what they seem to be.
Yeah. I can't sit him. I also hope Shakir blows up for that super flex league we're in.
I just love the guy too, so I'd be fine with that.
Tucker Kraft or Will Dissly? I think Mark purposely spells these people's names wrong on purpose at this point.
I think Disney and the magic that they have could be really good. I would go Tucker Kraft here. I think just a better player. I like Disney. Now I'm saying it. I like Will Dissly's matchup, but I think Tucker Kraft's just a better player.
Mm-hmm. Same. Seth, what's up, man? Morning, guys. Choose one RB2 today since Chuba and Tyrone Tracy are on bye. Told me Chuba and Tyrone Tracy are solid running back options. Beginning of the year, I would have called you crazy, but
right,
this is where we're at. Chuba's sweet.
We live in, brother.
Yeah, I mean, Jonathan Brooks just probably value went down the freaking drain, didn't it? Because Chuba just signed an extension too. I mean,
yeah, don't worry about that though. It's probably front loaded for next year. Brooks is still okay, but his redraft value took a nasty.
Chuba's playing phenomenal. He just looks like a good overall player in general. Tyrone Tracy looks really good too. Fumbles last week definitely hurt. Yeah. Hopefully he gets the bye week to get his mind right after that. But he also is the only reason the Giants are in some of these games, to be honest. So so he's got non-PPR, Alexander Madison, Travis Etienne, or Audric Estime.
Yeah, I will go probably go Madison here.
He asked this question earlier, but he didn't have Estime in there. So you went Madison and I went Etienne. I'm going to stick with Etienne here.
I do have Etienne ranked higher than Madison, but I'm going on my gut. I'm going to go with Alexander Madison. I don't know what to make of Jacksonville right now. Your boy did not look good last week.
Who? Oh, Mac.
Like,
I don't care.
I don't
He's
know
in the
how.
past.
I have
He's
no
the
idea how
X.
I don't know
He's
how.
the X.
I don't know how Minnesota won that game, but I don't care.
Yeah, he was targeting a lot of Brenton Strange or something. It was weird.
A lot of tight end target. Like I
Yeah.
still like Evan Ingram, but that's it. Like my poor Brian Thomas Jr. shares are crying in the dark.
Watch him play phenomenal today.
I hope so.
Would you guys play Juwan Jennings over Kareem Hunt or Aaron Jones in a PPR league? Thank you for answering all my questions. I really
The Jones
it.
one. The Jones one's tough for me.
Jeez Louise, man. These people are asking all these tough questions today. I feel like this is the most tough questions we have in one day.
I gotta go to the rankings.
I don't know if I can sit Aaron Jones. The problem is he just seems like every time he's my answer, he gets hurt in the middle of the game. Every single time.
So I would play him over Hunt, but not Jones. No, actually, I don't know if I can in that matchup. Hunt's going to touch the ball 25 times, right?
Maybe.
Come on, guys. Can we have some easy questions? This is brutal.
Yeah. I'll stick with Aaron Jones here.
I would start Juwan Jennings over Kareem Hunt, but not Aaron Jones. I'm sticking with that.
I can get on board with that.
We need Aaron Jones today in a big bet.
You're crazy.
What are we crazy about?
I don't know. Maybe we picked
maybe
Juwan.
About fighting the long snapper.
Or that we picked Juwan Jennings over him.
Oh, well, either way, you're right. I am crazy, but I'm still going Juwan Jennings.
Yeah, Debo's a guy I've always stayed clear of. I know he's a guy that can win you games, but he's also a dude that just loses you them as well.
He's a guy, you mentioned about Aaron Jones getting hurt. He's another guy that could pull up lame any second. He's one soft tissue injury away from pissing you off.
I think it's just Stevenson or Kareem Hunt. I'll go Kareem Hunt here.
Yeah, I'm going to join you on that. And it's a volume thing more than anything. And it's just a chasing points thing. They're very, very close to me, though. They're 20 and 24.
Yeah, it's not even a volume thing for me. This is more of just Kareem Hunt has a way, way, way better chance of falling in the end zone.
That's true.
Yeah.
Who you guys got this week?
The Rams. So, boring game. Probably another boring game, unfortunately.
That's what you guys do.
Yep. It'll be interesting to see Gonzalez. I'll like to watch that. Gonzalez.
Is he going to be on Puka?
Wide receiver. I think he'll be on both. I think they might just let him pick a side and whichever wide receiver's on that side.
Did they bring him into the slot at all?
I don't know. I could see him.
Because that'll be interesting, right? Like they'll move Puka and Cooper from outside to inside and see what happens there. But
they probably just whoever the outside receiver.
It's too many weapons for you.
Yep. I kind of hope. I mean, I've got a share of Puka and Cooper, but I think I need the Cooper one to go nuts. Pick one wide receiver and one flex. Collins. Finally, Nico Collins in a question today. Hopkins, Shakir, JSN, Pollard, or Kamara. Wowzers. Okay,
one wide receiver. I think Nico's going to be my wide receiver.
Yeah, I think him missing last week was to really ensure that he's 100% moving forward. So, yeah, Nico Collins is a must start for me moving forward.
I think he shreds Dallas this week. So, Nico's my wide receiver. My flex is then either Hopkins, Shakir, JSN, Pollard, or Kamara. I can tell you it's not Pollard.
It's easily Kamara for me.
I think it has to be.
Yeah, he could get more receptions and receiving yards than all these guys. And along with whatever he gets on the ground. Yeah.
And he probably has the ball in his hands 3 times as often, right?
Yeah.
Like, what does Hopkins get? Maybe 6 or 8 catches on a good day. Same with Shakir. Pollard's going to touch the ball. Kamara's going to touch the ball 25 plus times. So that's Kamara. Kamara is a top 3 running back. For me moving forward. I don't know. I'm just trying to think. Like I probably make McCaffrey above him. Yeah, well, that's my top. That's my top 2 this week. I have CMC at 1 and Kamara at 2. So
yeah, so and it's the PPR work, right? I mean, these guys are truly like heavily involved in their team's pass game every single week. So TD only week. I hate these. Start 2: Debo, Brian Thomas Jr., Jameson Williams, Deontay Johnson, Lab McConkey, Pat Freiermuth. I like he put Deontay Johnson in there because he's playing his old team. I just have a weird feeling he does score today, which is goofy, but I don't think I could pick him over some of these dudes. Debo's number one for me here.
Yep.
Number two is where it gets a little tricky.
Probably Jameson Williams. Could be Freiermuth too, though. Like just barely just touchdowns.
Who did the Jags play today?
The Jags?
Yeah.
They play. Looking right at it. Can't see it, but I'm looking right at it.
Is it the Brown? No.
What the frick? No, they play the Lions.
Man. Gives Brian Thomas Jr. a lot better ability to score today to me.
Garbage.
Yeah, exactly. Garbage is still points, right?
Right? Is that game garbage time like halfway through the third quarter?
Yeah. Give me Brian Thomas Jr. and Debo. Screw it.
All right. I want Brian Thomas Jr. to be good this week, so I'm going to do the same.
I do have a parlay with Deontay Johnson scoring a touchdown in it today, though.
I hope you win that, but that is crazy.
Yeah. Just because it's his old team.
Yeah.
The only reason. And Mike Tomlin said, I'm not worried about him, essentially. It's like, well, we're not game
scored I wouldn't worry about him either. I think he has like 2 more catches than I do since he's joined the Ravens. So
Mahomes or Love?
Mahomes for me.
Yeah, I'm picking Mahomes this week. Every other week of this year, it would have been Love.
Me too.
Except maybe week 1.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Pick 3 wide receivers: D-Hop, Metcalf, Adams, Downs, Moore, and then Kittle or Bowers. Wow, what? You have Kittle and Bowers.
You got to go Bowers because you don't know what's going on with Kittle.
Yeah, it looks like Kittle, that decision is made for you.
Yeah, and I was, just for fun, my tight end rankings before all this was Bowers 1, Kittle 2. So I was going Bowers either way. Pick 3 wide receivers: D-Hop, Metcalf, Adams, Downs, Moore.
It's the first 3 for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I want it to be Josh Downs, but it's not. Yeah, I think D-Hop could have a big game today.
So, guys, pick 2. Half PPR. Downs, DJ Moore, Najee, Dobbins. Thanks.
I might go with both running backs here. No, I'm going Dobbins and Downs. That's what I'm doing.
I think DJ Moore has a bounce back week. I said it earlier. I'll go Dobbins and DJ Moore.
I like it. I hope he does. Hope you're right.
I might have to have you take over for a second while I use the restroom.
I can do that.
Yeah, go ahead on this one, and I'll be back.
All right. So Michael needs to start one. Jalen Waddle, Jerry Jeudy, or Josh Downs. It's a triple J question. I have probably ranked Waddle the highest, but I don't like it. Everything's easy when you're ranking until you have to do this stuff. So just bear with me 1 second. I have Downs at 30. I have Jeudy nowhere in sight. I have Jeudy at 41. And I have Waddle. Where do I have Waddle? Sorry, guys. I know this is an awesome, well-organized answer. Yeah, I'm Josh Downs. I have him at 30, Waddle at 39, and Jerry Jeudy at 41. I know that there's some angst when it comes to Anthony Richardson at quarterback, but I think that the Jets are really going to pound the Colts today, and I think you got to chase a little bit. And I'd rather go with the guy in the middle of the field. I think the corners for the Jets are going to take away more of the Alex Pierce and Michael Pittman, who I think is a little bit overvalued anyway. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Josh Downs here and hope that it all works out for you. Deal. Najee Harris, Zay Flowers in the flex. You already have 19 points projected lead. So awesome that you got that in your pocket. That Baltimore-Pittsburgh game is an interesting one. So anything pass catcher in that I like from the Pittsburgh side, and running back I don't like as much. That said, on the Baltimore side, Pittsburgh's defense, we've seen them shut down almost everybody this year, pardon me. I don't love Zay Flowers this week, and I don't love Najee Harris. So if you have any other options, I'd be interested in what those other options are. That said, I'm going to go with Zay Flowers here, just a little bit higher than Najee Harris. And PPR, I got that as well. And that's the reason, that's the biggest indicator for me, because I think Downs can get, or pardon me, I'm stuck on the last question. I think Zay Flowers gets the ball in his hands quickly this week. So, and he can do some stuff with it. But those points per reception, they definitely add up. Jeffrey Jacobs, my man, how are you, sir? Thank you for being here. With Higgins back, do you see Gesicki being relevant as a flex in a small 0.5 tight end premium? Not really. Not really. And we talked about this kind of early on in our episode today, is with T. Higgins being back, it's really going to have an impact on the tight end production. And we saw Tanner Hudson be a little bit relevant as well. So I think it's possible that Gesicki is, he's got to be third at best, probably fourth best, with Chase Brown probably the third best option. So I think it's a big impact for him. So I would try to get away from Gesicki if I can. How about you? And now I'm going to bail and do the same thing that you just did.
Yeah, go ahead. I don't like Gesicki moving forward. I mean, it obviously depends what your options are instead of him, Jeff. But I know he's had some really big weeks this year. One against the Chiefs, that was a really good week, and I think he's a super talented dude. But excuse me, I just see him as a third, fourth option, maybe even fifth to Joe Burrow with T Higgins back. So don't feel comfortable starting Gesicki, but he is that type of player that can blow up on your bench when you don't start him, which is the crappy thing. And Pedro said wide receiver Addison, wide receiver Josh Palmer, running back. Was that you asking? If that's from your question earlier about starting Josh Palmer next week, I would go Addison over him for sure. For sure. Zay or DK for my wide receiver 2, full PPR. Also pick 2. James Cook, Jacoby Meyer, Josh Jacobs, DeAndre Swift, ETN with Bigsby out. Flowers or DK? Which one you got?
DK for me. Steelers are nasty. We had a question earlier, Najee or Zay Flowers when you were in the restroom. What would you do there?
Flowers.
I did the same, but I think that's a nasty matchup there for him.
Yep. Yeah, this one's DK for me.
Yeah.
And then pick 2.
Cook, Jacoby, Josh Jacobs, DeAndre Swift.
Cook and Jacobs.
Jacobs for sure. Yeah. Yeah. I think just, again, to the point of that Kansas City Buffalo game probably being like score city. Give me Cooks and give me Josh Jacobs. It's the only way the Packers can really beat the Bears, I think, is running it down their throats.
Yep. This is referenced question for next week with the Palmer, London being out. I would go Addison over Josh Palmer.
I probably would too, but man, he's frustrating. Like I mentioned earlier, Darnold's just not getting through progressions, right? He's looking at JJ, then he's looking at Hawkinson, and then he's either on his ass or he's throwing it to somebody else. So I have a feeling we could see Jordan Addison get right, for lack of a better term, this week. So I'm going to join you in that. I think that we got to get Addison going. It's the only chance that the Vikings have of having a sustainable offense, is because teams are just blanket coveraging Justin Jefferson right now. And I would too if I was an opposing defensive coordinator. But yeah, we got to get him going. So yeah, I'm with you on Addison.
Okay, I need a wide receiver bad. Lost Rice and Olave. What type of wide receiver do you think I could get for Pacheco? I think I could let him go because I got Hubbard, Jacobs, Robinson Jr. for sure. It's hard to. This is really hard to answer for us. But the process I would go to is I would go to the top 4 or 5 teams in the league, and I would look at their running backs and see which one has the weakest one. And hopefully they're deep at wide receiver, and then work from there. And even with that, I don't think it's dumb to potentially, if they don't like Pacheco, maybe see what you can get for Robinson or see what you can get for Jacobs. I kind of would hold on to Chuba if I was contending. If I imagine if you lost Rice, I don't know if this is a redraft or not. If so, Rice is useless. But I wouldn't mind shopping any of these guys outside of Hubbard to try and get a better option. But that's where I would go. I'd go find the team that's weakest at running back and target their wide receiver core. Because usually when they're weak at running back, they're probably strong at another position. So that's the process. I would go for that. So then maybe look at your teams and then ask questions from there. Would this get this for us? And that'll help us narrow this down for you.
Yeah, I think that's exceptional advice and the same thing I would do. I'm interested to see what Kansas City does when Pacheco comes back, because I don't think Hunt just becomes all of a sudden irrelevant. I don't think that Pacheco comes right back into 3-down bell cow workload. I think that they want to keep him fresh and make sure he's okay for their attempt to win 3 in a row. So I would shop Pacheco for sure. I agree with everything Bryce said. I would look at a guy like Jacoby Myers type in that range.
I think Dell be another guy.
Yeah, like a kind of a number 2 secondary-ish type fantasy, like a wide receiver 2 in fantasy, but that has the potential for more. So someone like Jacoby Myers, maybe the Tillman guy, the owner has picked up Tillman off waivers, or
Dwan Jennings,
right? All guys like that. So I would go and start hunting for those guys that have the upside. I'd include Chuba in my shopping list because Carolina's bad, right? And as good as Chuba is, they might want to see what Brooks can do the rest of the way. Mm-hmm. It's all tough to tell right now because you got a bunch of running backs in split backfields here. It's going to hurt your chances of getting a good wide receiver, but Bryce is right. Like, there's a lot of teams out there that are like, I know my redraft leagues, I don't really like running backs, so I have really good wide receivers, and I would trade you one of them for one of these guys. So that's exactly what you do. Go hunting for the guys that need the running backs the most and see what happens.
And what a weird year. Like, there really hasn't been any running backs that get hurt for an extended amount of time, but there's been a lot of wide receivers. Like,
you look at the last
every year. It's like
you look at
wide receivers missing a lot.
And we all drafted that way this year, right? We all suppressed the running backs in our ADP and drafted heavy running or wide receiver, and we're all paying for it.
Yeah. It's really strange. I mean, but Pacheco's really the only one. I feel like that, like a super fantasy relevant running back that's missed a significant amount of time. There's been plenty of running backs this year that super underperforming. You could say Rashad White, ETN, or guys that just have like missed like the whole season. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey did too, but he also was rumored to be kind of hobbled prior to the season starting. So depending on when you drafted, you kind of probably paid the price for that. I always hate having the first draft pick for that reason, though. Start 2, half PPR. Dell, Downs, Adunze, Cooper, Addison. Scored 32 with Barkley, looking for the conservative pick. Highest floor. Good context.
Cooper's good floor. Is it Amari Cooper or Cooper Kupp? We've used all last.
It's got to be Amari Cooper. Yeah, if Cooper Kupp wouldn't be in this question, I would imagine. I think Dell might be a good floor to this week too with Nico Collins back. I think that helps Dell.
I'm starting 2. I'm going to probably go with Dell for sure. Probably Downs.
I don't hate Amari Cooper this week. The problem is the floor, wanting the floor play.
Like target-wise, don't you think Dell and Downs are the 2 leading target getters here?
I just hate Anthony Richardson as a passer. It's just so much. Like eight targets for Downs from Anthony Richardson is like 4 from a regular quarterback.
Well, what about Adunze? Because Caleb Williams and Anthony Richardson are kind of the same guy right now in terms of
I don't like Adunze that much either. Yeah, right. I don't like Adunze either. To me, it becomes I feel like it's between Downs and Cooper for me. I will say that. I just think Amari Cooper now being there for a more extended period of time, taking that week, I think he might have been able to play last week and just took it off, preparing for this week potentially, like looking forward to this week, this big matchup. I think they're going to need him today. Like, I just think they're going to need somebody today to really step up outside for them. I'm going to go Dell and Cooper.
All right. I'm Dell and Downs, just based on targets, but you make very good points.
It's close. It's close for me too.
Yeah.
Oh, no problem, Seth. No problem. The second one had more. The second one had more context and another option, so no big deal.
We don't mind. We're good.
Just want to thank you guys for answering all my questions. I'm in 2 weeks, and you so much help. Love your show. Have a great Sunday and good luck in your leg. Thanks, Mark.
Mark, you're one of those consistent week in and week out guys in here. So
he's got another question coming up too, so it's funny. He's like,
another one. Jeez, Mark. Yeah, man. No, we that's why we're here, right? Like,
yeah,
the weeks where we don't have a lot of questions, especially when we have to kind of do it ourselves, is hard. So, absolutely, guys, keep them coming. And Mark, you're more than welcome. We appreciate you being here.
Yeah, next year will be rough for me because if we're doing this again next year, I'll be every 3 Sundays I'll have to miss because I'll be working because I'll be hopefully at a fire department by this time next year, and every three Sundays you work, every 3 Saturdays you work, and every 3 Fridays because the 20. I don't know how it is in Canada, but here in America it's a 24/48, so you're on for 24 hours straight, and then you're off for 48 hours. So
I don't have a clue how it works in either country. All I know is I'm rooting for you. I think that would be fantastic, and you deserve that. So as much as I would miss you every second or third Sunday, that's awesome.
Probably tune in, do some comments. Actually, I get to go. I'm going to walk in and talk to a department today because
awesome.
It's called a single cert because I'm only going to be Fire 1 and Fire 2 certified. I have to go to EMT school in January, and then I'll be fully EMT Fire 1, Fire 2. But some departments will hire you with one of those as a part-time employee. So I'm doing that right after this. I'm going to shower and head over to wherever.
Cool. Just don't tell me you're a Patriots fan.
Yeah. Well, maybe there's one there. Kraft or Johnny this week and rest of season. Probably Kraft.
Kraft to both.
Yep. Kraft to both.
I do like Johnu this week though, but I like Kraft more both.
12 team, super flex, PPR, 0.5 tight end premium, 10 team. Oh, start 10. Sent Gesicki got a 25 early third.
Yeah,
even.
That makes sense.
Nothing crazy. I hate third round picks. I really only focus on seconds and first, but you never know. Sometimes you hit on those thirds.
If you like to do a lot of deals, I like getting thirds because they're nice little throw in. They look like you're giving them something, and I don't give a shit about a third round pick either. So I'll give it to you all day long just to try to get that deal over the finish line.
Yeah, it can't hurt to get one. You never know. You could strike gold. I think like guys like Ramondre Stevenson and Pacheco were third round picks in rookie drafts. So you never know. And Puka was like a fourth round and something. Yeah. So I know that's a really rare occasion, but it happens. Yep. I have Henry and CMC as my 1 and 2 running backs.
Okay, you stick there. I'm just going to go back.
Yeah. I don't know. Jeez Louise. Good problem to have, I guess.
So Johnny asked us earlier about picking one wide receiver in a flex between Collins, Hopkins, Shakir, JSN, Pollard, and Kamara.
Oh, okay.
So that's where we
got
were.
Henry's, Kamara, and CMC. Jeez Louise.
Good stuff. Go win that league. Go win that league.
It's going to be hard to lose that league. And then Mark comes back. It's me again. Juwan Jennings or James Cook. Man, that's a good one.
A really good one. Are we the grocery's back?
Yeah. You want? Hey, Caroline. She doesn't.
Come say hi.
Yeah, she doesn't. She ain't got no clothes on. She's a naked baby.
We're a family show. You cut that shit out. Man, this is hard. I'm gonna go with Juwan Jennings.
I've stood on not wanting to bench anybody from this game today, so I'll continue standing on it. Give me James Cook.
Fair.
Good morning, boys. Since Kittle is out, Taysom Hill or Knox? Answer my own question again. Knox.
It's Knox for me. Is he out? Do we know yet? We don't know
yet. It's looking like he is. If he's like already kind of, it's like if something came out 2 hours ago that said he's leaning towards not playing, so probably not playing. I feel like those reports are usually pretty accurate. While you're looking that up, flex, wide receiver / running back PPR, Zay Flowers or Najee Harris?
So we had this question earlier, and I went Zay Flowers, and I don't know if it was the same. I believe it was the same individual that asked it. My thought process was I don't like anything running against the Ravens, but I don't really like anything passing against the Steelers. But with it being a PPR-related question, I could see Lamar dumping some quick hitters to Zay Flowers to try to get him open in space. So that's why I went with Flowers over Harris. Harris has been a little banged up too, so that's why.
He did say thank you. He probably answered it right after he retyped it. But
Oh,
he is a
good.
newer guy. He is newer. If you guys are new in here, so we get behind sometimes, so it takes us a little bit to get to your questions, but we will get to it. I promise. But yeah, I wasn't here for it, so I did say I would go Zay Flowers though when Sully asked me when I got back. Bowers or Hawkinson started Barkley 32 points. If I had to flex one, I would bench. If I had to flex one, I would bench Taylor or Walker, and the other would start at RB2. Oh, so he's got Walker and then maybe Taylor in the flex. I'm not starting both. I'm not starting both tight ends. I'm keeping your wide receiver, your running back in your flex option, and I'm starting Bowers over Hawkinson.
I am too, and Kenneth Walker or Jonathan Taylor.
No. He's saying he has one of those guys in the flex. Like he's already got Barkley starting, right? He's got Taylor, and
so I would have to sit Taylor or Walker for Hawkinson. In essence,
yeah, right? And I'm not doing that. Yeah,
no way.
Yep, you're in good situation.
That's good.
And Dill, if you're still in here, that you're welcome, man. No problem.
Anytime, brother.
Jeff Jacobs, I had him as a backup and traded him away this morning for an early third.
Gasecki, I believe. So
yeah.
I like that, Jeff.
I don't hate it. Don't hate it.
I don't hate it at all.
It's a win-win. If you're never going to start in your lineup, might as well throw some darts at third round guys, right?
Totally.
So Tober, thanks guys, no problem. You guys are great, excellent info. Keep up the good work. See you next week.
Thanks, Pedro.
Good luck in all your leagues, man. Hopefully you're not bounced in any leagues to where you don't need our advice anymore. Then that would be bad, huh?
Yeah, keep coming anyway.
Yeah, I'm in fourth place in that league. Right, my top wide receivers are Lamb and McConkey and Dell. So yeah, I need to move Pacheco.
Okay.
Yeah, I do like Dell moving forward. Honestly, with Diggs out and now Dell gets to slide in as the number 2. I think we'll see what John Mechie did last week, but on a higher level with Dell.
I really hope, on a total side topic, I really hope that they put Mechie into the Diggs role now. Like, I think we see that John Mechie is, like we saw it at Alabama when he was playing with Devonta Smith. He's a good wide receiver, right? Like, I think he's got that capability. But yeah, and I think this is a part of the season where we start to see the good rookies kind of elevate their performance, right? So I think you're going to see a little bit more out of Ladd McConkey. I think under normal circumstances out of Brian Thomas Jr. and Malik Neighbors and things like that, those guys have some quarterback woes, but it's where I see rookies starting to step up a little bit. So CeeDee Lamb's going to be fine. Tank Dell's probably going to be better. Ladd McConkey is going to be frustrating, but probably startable most weeks of flex. But yeah, if you can move off of Pacheco with those running backs that you have and grab yourself a little bit more of a less head-scratching wide receiver than Ladd McConkey on a weekly basis, I think you'll be in good shape.
Yeah. Who's my wide receiver 2 in flex? Juwan Jennings, Jacoby Meyer, Darnell Mooney, Josh Downs, Etienne, Ramondre Stevenson, and Kay Walker. Got Jefferson, wide receiver 1, and my running backs are Brees and Kyron Williams. This is easy for me. I'll let you go first. The flex is easy for me. I guess the wide receiver.
Would you sit either one of those running backs?
I mean, you gotta sit one of them, right? I'm not taking out Kyron and Brees. Oh, you're talking about sitting either of them. No, I'm not sitting Kyron or Brees.
Okay. I'm probably going to flex Walker then in that situation.
Yeah.
And my wide receiver is a little bit more challenging. I'm probably just going to stick with my theme today and go with Jennings, but both Myers and Mooney are attractive to me here as well.
Yeah, I like all three as well, but it's Juwan Jennings for me. I shouldn't say the wide receiver was the harder spot, but the flex option was good.
I think it can make an argument for starting Kenneth Walker over Breece Hall, but I'd end up flexing Breece Hall.
Yeah. So, yeah. I should say that to me is all interchangeable in my head for some reason.
But it doesn't matter. They're in my lineup. They're in my lineup. I don't give a shit if they're in my flex or my RB spot.
Yeah, I would say out of those three running backs, Breece would be my third favorite.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but he's kind of frustrating. But
they need to start doing those little pitch passes on the outside to him, or those like really long stretch runs. That's where he breaks those big runs off. They kind of started doing it there for a little bit when the new regime took over, and then they kind of I don't know what they're doing.
Aaron Rodgers is an asshole. That's what it is.
Yeah. Not everyone can be Tom Brady. Sometimes you just got to hang him up.
Right.
Who would you drop for a tight end spot? Since Kittle might be out, His Taysom Hill, Disley, Schultz, or Freiermuth. Bench is Darnell Mooney, Mayfield, Downs, Jacoby, Etienne.
So you're loaded.
Ramondre,
That's a good
Jennings.
team. If your bench has Jennings and Ramondre and Jacoby on it and Downs, you're loaded. So I guess my question is, who's your quarterback? Because Baker's on your bench. And is it a 1 QB or 2 QB or super flex league? Because the quick answer is I drop my second quarterback, but I don't know if I want to drop Baker.
That's the problem is Baker's on a bye, right? So what if he's streaming quarterback this week?
Right. So it probably
that
is
the issue.
It's Hill or Disley. Actually, no, it's Schultz or Disley. That's what
okay. Hold on. He gives us more context down low.
Oh, good.
Got Purdy. He's got Purdy in right now as his quarterback.
So most weeks you're probably starting Baker over Purdy, though, aren't you?
Yeah.
The way Baker's going.
So that means you really can't drop Baker, right?
I think it's Schultz or Disley. Both of them are the least.
No, I think that's his options on picking one up, and I think he's got to drop one of these guys to pick one of them up to start.
Okay,
that's what we're running into here, which is tough.
Now this is ugly.
Here's how we go. Here's how we can easily do this. I think this is an easier way to do it. Rest of season, are you ever starting? To me, are you ever starting Josh Downs over Juwan Jennings or Darnell Mooney at this point? Rest of season?
Maybe.
Probably not.
Probably
not. And then it comes down to Josh Downs or Jacoby Meyer rest of season to me. Because I don't want to drop either of the running backs.
Yeah, I think you got 33 minutes to make a trade, Juan. And that's what I would try to do.
It's going to be Downs or Myers for me because I just don't see myself starting either of those two guys over the other two, Darnell Mooney or Juwan Jennings, for bye week potentials, any potential injuries or things like that. That's what it comes down to. I would look for a trade.
If you're in that league with Juan and he drops Josh Downs or he drops any of these guys, you're picking them up, right?
Probably, but I mean, like, if you're a contender, it's this late in the season. If you are picking up Josh Downs or Jacoby Meyer, what's the likelihood of because it's obviously a shallow bench, probably a redraft league. What's the likelihood of those guys really contributing to some sort of championship run or playoff run for you? Probably not very high.
I would try to trade two of these guys for one guy.
Yeah, I would too. And it would be Downs and Myers or even like one of the running backs or one of the running backs and a wide receiver to try and upgrade it at some sort of position to free up a roster spot to pick someone up. It's going to be hard to execute a trade within the next 30 minutes. But if you can't, I'm dropping one of those wide receivers and you're just in such a good situation. It sucks, but it doesn't at the same time.
And the last thing I'll say is if you're playoff bound, take the 0 in the tight end spot and lose if you have to this week.
Yeah, you could do that too. And then I would start Taysom Hill over those options out of all those options.
And I would probably do the same.
Yep. What a bench.
What a team. That'll boy won.
Yeah, I don't even want to see the starting lineup. Might probably make me sick. Oh, that's probably the starting lineup up there at top where he's got
should be. Yeah, it's better than any team I got.
He's got Jefferson, Kyren, Brees, Walker. I would definitely be trying to move one of the running backs like on your bench and another wide receiver to maybe some fringe playoff team to see if it'll help them out this week. Tell somebody that's like 5-4 or whatever the record, 5-5 right now or whatever. Hey, Etienne's got no backup this week, and here's Josh Downs or Jacoby Meyer with him. Give me, I don't know. Go find somebody on a bye week or something. I don't know. I'd have to. It'd have to be quick, and I'd have to look. But
I am fairly confident that team's making the playoffs. I'm just going to take the 0.
Yeah, that's definitely an option. Lions or Dolphins defense this week?
I really like the Lions against the Jags and Mac Jones, so that's my pick.
Yeah.
I have the Dolphins at 4, right? Like I think the Dolphins against Vegas and Gardner Minshew / Desmond Ridder, when he comes in the third quarter, will probably be a good defense too. But I really like the Lions this week. I think they just
Mac Jones buckles under pressure, just goes down.
Jaguars coach and GM will be fired tomorrow. I'm telling you, calling it right now. They're done.
KC or Rams defense? Thanks, boys. The Rams. This is easy.
Got the Rams at 6 and the Chiefs at 19. I think that, like, the Bryce's point all day here is that there's probably going to be a lot of points in that game this week. So not great for a defense.
The Rams are playing New England, whose offensive line is going to let up some sacks. For sure. And May, as any rookie with not very good talent, is definitely prone to throw some. He's made some bad decisions, throwing some stupid picks, which that's okay as a rookie with not.
And Josh Allen might throw some picks today too. I don't think you're bringing Josh Allen down. I know that they have a great pass rush. I don't think you're going to sack Allen very much. So,
and you
easily
get points for not many points allowed, not many yards allowed, which still will definitely take into account with against the Patriots. So
100% agree.
Okay, I have Gibbs and Hall as my running backs. I have Hunt at the flex. Should I move Hunt up to my RB2 and bench Hall to play Mooney or Jennings?
No.
But I understand the question.
Gibbs and Hall as running backs. Hunt's the flex. So the question is, do I start Mooney or Jennings over Kareem Hunt? And I think earlier I said I would do Jennings over Hunt, but not Jennings over Aaron Jones. So I guess my answer is yes, I would. I would put Jennings in my flex.
Do you like Jennings more than Mooney this week?
I think so. That's close.
I think I'm doing Jennings over Hunt as well.
Good Lord, that's a tough question. So I have Mooney ranked higher right now, but again, with Kittle out, I would move Jennings up. So honestly, I'd probably start both Mooney or Jennings over Hunt this week. But I think that the other two would be if Kittle's out, Jennings is in. If he's not, then it's Mooney. Yeah, but I know you have to make that. And I know that's a shitty answer because you have to make the decision now, but that's still my shitty answer.
Yeah. Herbert or Stroud, 6-point touchdown, -3 for picks. Need conservative pick. And he's starting Dell. I'll take Stroud with Nico Collins back.
Yeah, I'm still going to stay with. Maybe I'm not.
You know what?
I like
Herbert's got the Bengals. Herbert's got the Bengals. I'll take Herbert.
Me too. Stroud
I'll take Herbert.
Stroud's right there, though, against Dallas. I just don't think that.
Yeah.
Like Joe Mixon, I think, has a big impact for Houston this week, and I don't think he's going to need to. And I like Dobbins too, but I think that the Chargers are chasing. The Texans are likely not chasing Dallas and Cooper Rush. So,
with Kyler Murray on bye, would you stream Drake May, Aaron Rodgers, Jameis Winston, or Kirk Cousins?
May.
Yeah, give me the rushing upside with May.
That kid's got something. I like him.
Yeah.
I think I was wrong about him.
They get him a wide receiver next season, whether that's through the draft or ideally through free agency and the draft. Honestly
get him too that way, right?
Yeah. I think Polk could be decent, but I think we need to get a veteran in there. I think we need a true good veteran.
Are you buying in on the Keishon Butte play? He's playing okay.
He's not bad, but I don't think
he's just kind of crazy, right?
Yeah, I don't think he's got like alpha wide receiver potential. I'll take, even though I really don't think T. Higgins does either. Like I'm hesitant on him. I wouldn't mind if they moved on or moved to pursue him this offseason, ideally.
It's got to be tough all those years without a championship in New England.
Yeah. Dawson Knox or Mark Andrews?
Andrews.
Yeah, I'll go Andrews here. I know I've been sticking with the Bills plays today, but out of the ones that I'm okay with sitting, it would be Knox, especially for a guy like Mark Andrews.
I'm not going that crazy.
Yeah. He said he dropped ETN. I just don't think this is a good week to do it. Yeah, this is not a good week to do it.
I don't think that's the worst thing in the world, but I would rather take a 0 and lose and keep ETN than do that. But I can't really argue dropping Travis Etienne. He looks kind of washed in that offense, but I really do think we're going to see a coaching change after this week. And to Bryce's point earlier about offensive coordinators changing, when we were talking about the Bears, when the Jags get a new OC, new head coach, whatever the situation is, we'll see. It's rumored to be Mike McCoy, who used to be the Chargers coach. So we'll see what happens. But I'd hang on to him just because that that team's going to shake up a bit.
Yeah. I gotta get on. I still got some things to do, but thank you. I still got some things. I'm confident I'll fix them. It's just gonna take time or finish them. It'll just take some time. Jeff Jacobs asks, deep flex start this week. PPR 1 tight end premium. Tanner Hudson or Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
It's probably MVS.
Hey, yeah. What? We were both kind of pooping on him last week, and then he gets 3 catches.
I shit all over it. I was like, well,
but that's what he does, right? That's exactly what he does. Like 3 catches and 2 of them are touchdowns. Who did that week 1? Xavier Worthy. What's he done since, right?
If I ever use the phrase, well, it sure isn't insert player here, go bet the farm on that player, because it's like 2 weeks in a row that I've done that or more. But I was like, my God, the answer is certainly not Marquez Valdez-Scantling last week. And then sure enough, I turn on the TV and it's bang, bang, bang. And I'm like, of course. Yeah. Amari Cooper's the other guy that I like to crap on, and then he goes and scores 2 touchdowns every week. So
yeah, of course he gets a freaking 2-yard touchdown of all things, of vulturing my Kamara. Start 2 this week. Oh, okay. Oh, he had Rashad Bateman. Does that change anything? Didn't for me. I'll keep in Valdez-Scantling. You torturing that poor child?
No. I think Bateman is a nice story and all, but you look at what Carr did with Shakir. Was it Shakir? Not Shakir. Who's their wide receiver that got hurt? It's out.
Who's?
The Saints.
Olave.
No, the other guy. The deep ball guy.
Rashid Shaheed.
Thank you. Shaheed. So you saw what he did with Shaheed. He's just inserted Valdez-Scantling into the Shaheed spot, right? He likes that big bomb down the field that he'll go 3 of 8 on, but those 3 are 150 yards in the score. So yeah, it's MVS for me.
I love the advice. It's okay to not start someone if they can't trade or drop someone, especially if you have a good Thursday or had a bad Thursday, etc. Yeah, okay. He's talking about like you taking the 0 at that tight end position.
Well, if it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. Like at the end of the day, if I'm locked into my playoff spot and I lose this week and I'm still going to be in the playoff spot, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, seed matters if there's bye weeks involved and things like that, of course. But if you kind of know you're not going to be the 1 seed, you're not going to be the last seed or whatever. You're not fringe. It's okay.
I just think you drop one of those guys, you're making your opponents better. Just lose the week and keep your team intact.
And Eric asked 2 questions back to back. For stashing. Did you drop Dolphins defense to stash? How do you say his name again? Estime?
Audrey Estime. Yeah.
Estime.
So
I always call him Estime. Okay.
Was it Eric that asked us Lions or Dolphins earlier?
It might have been.
I'll look.
But I will drop a defense to stash a guy like him. Yes, I would.
So that is Eric who asked us that question. So yeah, I'm not. What am I trying to say? I don't want to carry 2 defenses unless I'm looking ahead at a following week. And the Lions have already had their bye, so I know I don't need a defense for next week. So I would drop the Dolphins for Estime. If you could do that today, I would do it right now. But yeah, I don't see a need to carry 2 defenses unless you have Denver or someone like that, and you're upcoming into those massive bye weeks in 2 of the next 3 weeks. But no, I stream defense all along. I don't play in very many leagues with them, but the leagues that I do, I don't care who it is.
Yep. Yeah, same. And then he asked, drop Jonnu, his 2nd tight end, to stash Quorum.
I don't think I'm doing that. Although I do understand the desire to start loading up on backup running backs this time of year, because if Kyron gets hurt, Quorum is the next guy up. I just don't see him being Kyron. That's all. So anyway, but I think John is more relevant.
Yep. All right, and last question. We'll wrap it up. Waddle or Downs?
Second last question.
Yep, second to last question. Then we'll wrap it up. Waddle or Downs?
Waddle.
I'll go Waddle. Yeah.
I hope it's Downs. So, man, I have so many shares of Josh Downs. It's crazy.
I don't have hardly any of Waddle anymore. I got rid of all of them.
I'm sitting Waddle for Jennings this week. That's not crazy, right?
No.
How about Tony Pollard or Waddle?
Pollard.
Let's do Cody's question, and then I'll throw on the old spectacles and see what question I have for you.
Would play Ridley over Hunt at flex? Yes, I would play Ridley.
Yeah.
Ridley has 2 20-plus games out of the last 3 weeks. And yep, I would. I'd play Ridley over Hunt. I sure would.
Would you play Rico Dowdle over Waddle or Jennings?
No.
Okay. So my lineup's set there then. That's good. That's my 9-1 team. I have to sit. I'm sitting Waddle and I'm sitting Dowdle, but I'm pretty lucky in that league. Would you go Dowdle or Pollard? Pollard, even against Minnesota?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty good there. I got McCaffrey, Mixon, Kyron, Pollard are my 4 running backs, so it worked out well. A little thin. I'm trying to add a wide receiver there. I offered some guys 7 guys for Justin Jefferson yesterday, and he said no. All 5 of my picks plus Rico Dowdle, and I can't remember who else.
Tried. All right, that's it. We're caught up. We're going to take this next 20 minutes, figure out our own lineups, and
we are. Maybe Bryce can help his wife do something around the house, for God's sakes.
Yeah, they're about to leave to go to a birthday party. So
okay, and then you're going to go land a part-time gig at a fire department. I like it.
Hopefully, get some experience for when I need to apply full time.
This, just not that anybody cares, is my Canadian Football League Winnipeg Blue Bombers jersey, as they are in the championship game later on today for the 5th year in a row, trying to win their 3rd championship.
Good luck to them. We'll see you guys. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for keeping us busy.
Always love it. Thanks, guys. Good luck to everyone. And Bryce, we're not playing this week, so good week to you too.
Yep. Good luck to you. Later.
Cheers.